Okay, everybody. So this is a narrated sparring session with my wife, and yeah, the reason that I decided to do this was I've got a lot of questions from folks that train with us that about training at home with their loved ones, and somebody who may not have the same amount of experience as them, somebody who's just getting started, somebody who's much smaller than them, and we're all kind of stuck at home training with each other right now. And so a lot of the questions are, like how can I be a good training partner, still get something out of it, and train with somebody who's much smaller than me, um, like my wife. And so I'm just trying to do a little bit of a video here, just kind of explain what my ideas are here and what proportional training kind of means. And I think I'll talk a little bit about the techniques that we do here from time to time, but we'll talk about how to just basically how you can train at home without shutting down completely your training partner or even worse, injuring them. So you'll see that Mandy's mounted on me. I'm not. I've got 25 years of experience. Mandy is a three-stripe white belt. She's improved quite a bit over the last 6 months because um, she's been taking it really seriously. So right now, she's working in the mount position. I'm trying to, when she's in positions of dominance, I'm really doing my best to um, allow her the opportunity to attack. But also, little by little, as she gets better, I'm improving the level of resistance that I give her. When I talk about proportional training, it's kind of important to really just kind of explain what does that mean. So, what I mean by proportional training is basically if I'm sparring with her, she's almost half. Well, yeah, she's a lot smaller than me, as you can tell. I'm bigger than her. I'm stronger than her. I have more experience. But that doesn't matter. Even if you don't, even if you have the same amount of experience as your partner, if you're much bigger and much stronger, you need to kind of be proportional with the response and resistance that you give. Now that doesn't mean just being like a big bag of jello, right? It's not that you're just kind of just letting them, just flopping around. That's almost worse than going too rough. What I mean by that is I'm trying to match the amount of strength that she's giving me, and challenging her. So we get into certain positions. She's improved on positions like this. We're in the guard position here, and she's attacking the triangle. And so I'm giving her different looks than I have in the past. I'd let her get to a certain point, let her attack, so that she could develop her capabilities. And I'm giving sometimes a white belt response. So right there, it's something we've worked on in the past. Where how do you counter the counter? Well, I was giving her at first. I would give up that position. I would let her arm lock me. Okay, and then once she got better at catching the arm lock, noticing the signs, now it's time to start throwing in the defense. So I would put in my defense and let her kind of work her way through that. So then we started finding new questions to answer. So how do I stop this defense? Okay, so we'll learn how to shut that down. So now that she gets that down, then we go to the next phase. So here, from a technical perspective, she's wrapped the neck. We've talked about this a little bit in our private lessons. She recognizes that it's time to let go of the neck. Once my body arrives on the opposite side of her body, it's time to let go of the neck. So I'm going to jump back and forth between the concept of proportional training and just some of the techniques that we're actually covering as well. So here she's working out of the guard position, and she's improved a lot. She's sitting right next to me, so it's kind of making me nervous talking about her technique. But I'm trying to challenge her little by little to improve her capabilities and just opening up different attacks and different options for her. But movement is very important. So I don't want to fully shut her down with my weight and my pressure, but sometimes I will. Sometimes I will want her. Maybe that's the lesson for the day. I want her to feel sort of some pressure and learn how to deal with pressure, because that's important, because you're going to be sparring. If you're a smaller person, especially female in the classroom, you're going to eventually spar with somebody who's bigger and stronger than you. And that's where jiu-jitsu really shines. So you really do need to learn how to deal with that. So if somebody's bigger and stronger than you, it's important to learn how to survive. So there's going to be times in the roll that I shut her down, and I use my weight and pressure. Not 100%, but little by little I keep improving that. So as she improves, I'm gonna increase the level of response and resistance that I give her. Okay, as well as the technical response as well. So sometimes it's easy for me to make the white belt or the blue belt mistake. Sometimes it's very difficult for me to emulate the white belt energy. So that's the most difficult part on my end. So if you're a white belt and you're training with your significant other at home and you're much bigger and stronger than them, you're still going to have a little bit of that white belt energy, and that's okay as long as you keep it safe and realize that when you're training, your objective, especially when you're training with somebody that somebody much smaller than you, your objective is not always to submit them. Sometimes it is, but it's technical improvement on both of your parts. So for me, and I think this is the thing that a lot of folks struggle with, especially white belts and honestly even just females in the room. One of the concerns that my wife has with training with some of the other folks in the room is I don't want to waste their time, and you shouldn't worry about that very much at all, because honestly, you look at like Hajar Gracie was the best in the world for years and years, and was training almost primarily with blue belts, and when he was in England all the time. Now, honestly, he had those opportunities to train with higher level guys as well, but the majority of his training came from his students. And so how do you improve? So to say that the upper belt is not gaining something from the roll is not true at all. We learn a lot. So for me, the challenge is, how can I surprise my wife without using strength? So for me, that's the challenge, and it's becoming more and more difficult the better she gets. She's a 3-stripe white belt now. She's learned a lot, and things that I could trick her with before are not easy to trick her with now. So that's my objective. So if I'm training with somebody who's a lower belt than me, my main objective is to be conservative with my energy, expend less energy than them, allow them the opportunity to develop and learn, not just from my attacks, but from my defenses as well, and my positioning. Just experiment and really try to surprise them. That's the objective. So here I went step back for a foot lock, and so you see we're trying to catch all positions. Now I'm terrible at exposing my back because it's been ingrained in my brain from the beginning. I do my best to expose it from time to time so she gets an opportunity to try that. Now this is a nice little setup that we've been working on, where I sweep from the half guard. And come up, and she kind of scoots her hips back and catches the guillotine. It's something that Huron taught me last year. I'll put out that video soon, but it's a slick little arm in guillotine position we've been working on, and it's a good opportunity for the person on the top. So you'll see here she's just trying to pass the guard, catch the triangle. She left the arm exposed, so I'm gonna go and catch her there. So again, it's not wrong to submit them. In fact, it's very important. You need to have the opportunity to go on the offensive and attack as well, and show your partner where they're making the mistake. The biggest part of the proportional aspect of it is not muscling it. Okay, so if I got to a point where I felt like I was expending, let's say I'm twice as strong as her, if I'm expending 50% of my energy and capability or more to finish the submission, then that's my opportunity to understand where I'm expending too much energy, so we're both growing. So I'm not just muscling something. So when you're sparring with your partner, make sure that you're trying to relegate that energy level, that strength level, appropriately. And again, not just being a bag of jello, right? And I'll give, even here in the triangle choke, I'm not giving her my black belt, 100% black belt response. You see, we're kind of being a little playful there. I tried to surprise her and step over top. But yeah, this was a really, really fun roll. It was enjoyable for both of us. It's been kind of stressful, as I'm sure you guys are are dealing with some of the same stresses that we are. You know, and sometimes this is our therapy. This is our ability to get on the mat and kind of take that stress out, and it's important, right? And so if I were just a big bag of Jello and just let her do whatever, she might as well just drill techniques, and that's important. You need to drill, especially at white belt. But when when she's sparring like this, she wants to have that feel that she gets, that when she's training with somebody her own level and her own size. And so I can emulate that as best I can. So that's the objective. So you'll see here, I very, very much like the stack pass. She's going for a cross choke here. I'll go for just a little bit of muscle pow, and I'm probably butchering that pronunciation, but need the bread choke, right? Just to shut that down. I'm a huge fan of the cross choke, and I go for it on her a lot, so she's utilizing it as well. She's getting a lot better with her. If you'll notice there, she's responding much earlier to my attempts to stack pass. She'll see the leg weaving back and forth and blocking, and the hip movement. We're working on that a lot. I tried to sneak the arm lock there a little bit, and maybe might have sat on her head there for a second. Now she's gonna stack me up here a little bit, defend her arm, and then I'm gonna switch right into the inverted triangle. So one of my favorite attacks. I really enjoy that position. But she slipped out. I felt like I was expending too much energy there. So yeah, here we are, and you'll hear the heater kick on in the background because this is out in the shop. But now she's in side control, slipping right to the mount position. I'm gonna make a little bit of space there, head and elbow in the inside, and we're gonna go for that same thing. But when I come up here, I'm gonna drag her leg in from the half guard position. One of my favorite. I'm gonna switch and come back the other way and try to chase the back. And boom, she slipped to the mount. So now she's back in the mount position, and trying to pin and separate the arm there, kind of pin it on the floor, maybe look for Americana attack. She's blocking my spine. She's improved a lot in this position, and really all the positions, but here you can tell she's trying to get a good hook. She's trying to slip inside for the Americana, but after a while, she's learned that technique. I'm going to shut it down a little bit, force her to kind of think a little bit further down the chain. So if I have more technique and capability than my partner, I want them to develop the next stage. Once they get one technique down in one series, okay, I want to shut that down and allow them the opportunity to think through and figure out what's next. Okay, I can't catch this. What's next? So now we're in an arm wrap territory. Okay, so she's going to roll me over, go for the back mount position. If I remember right, we're going to battle here a little bit. She's going to chase the rear naked choke, but I'm going to be a little bit stubborn and maybe shut that down a little bit. She switched back. I'm not sure if she decides maybe she wants to go for an arm lock. We'll see. And like I said, I don't expose my back very often, so I have to do it sort of conscientiously. So did get to the back mount. And now you'll see I'll roll out a little bit here. I pop my shoulder because her hips are so deep. So she actually hurt my shoulder a little bit there. It's totally my fault because I've been challenging her. Her arm lock is getting really, really good. So I've been challenging the defense a little bit further. Her hips were so deep that time since she caught it from the back mount position that it kind of hyperextended my shoulder. So I popped my shoulder just a little bit. You see her foot gets stuck in my knee. So if I move quickly here, that could hurt her ankle, so we're gonna kind of play around and get rid of that. So she's got the hand on the collar here. She's gonna, I can't remember exactly what she's going for. Okay, yes, she might be fishing for the triangle position. She's been doing a lot of lasso guard lately and triangle setups. Her triangle's getting a lot better here. You'll notice that little movement again, that guard retention movement. That's a really, really important movement. We'll share that in a video later. One of my favorite guard retention moves. You'll see she's getting used to this now. So she blocked I was going to stack pass on the other side. She blocked that arm just like a punch block, which is fantastic. Now you see I'm directing her to pull the head down because you don't want the head to go out of reach. So you want to pull the head down, especially if you can tell they want to posture. Now you got to fit that. There you go. She's gonna adjust the legs a little bit and then finish the chokehold there. So I think that was a good 15-minute roll. Yeah, we were both. It was a good fun time, and I hope this was helpful. Again, Train with your loved ones, be safe, have fun, and be proportional when you're rolling. Take care.
How you feel?